Sometimes if there's a restaurant I want to try like right away, I'll just make a reservation for one. That's right. I eat solo. And so does Alicia Miranda, our CityCast Philly food contributor. But where do you sit? Should you get a table? And what are the best days of the week to dine for a party of one? We're going to break down the do's and don'ts when you eat alone. It's Tuesday, November 25th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's where to eat solo in Philly. So, Alicia, before we get started, is Philly a good town to dine solo?
I think so, yeah. I think from my experience, as a solo diner, I do see a lot of other people out and about dining solo for a myriad of reasons, right? You have people out for lunch, right, that maybe don't have time to find someone to go to lunch with, and so they're just going to go by themselves. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's plenty of places that welcome solo diners and can cater to solo diners. So yeah, I think Philadelphia has been a great solo dining town.
Alicia, I know you dine solo because it's literally your job to eat, but sometimes you do bring your husband along. Is dining solo awkward for you?
It is totally not. I have dined solo truly around the world. When I first started traveling in my 20s, I went everywhere by myself, and I had no problem and still have no problem eating by myself.
Do you get a sense that people look at you and feel bad for you because you're dining by yourself? And because it's looked at as a social activity.
Right. I don't think I've ever gotten looks that someone feels bad for me. I do get looks of curiosity. For listeners who don't know me, I'm 5'2", I'm nearly 40, but I don't look it. So when sometimes I'm at bars or restaurants, people are like, what is this little girl doing, eating by herself and drinking wine by herself? And sometimes that will prompt a stranger to converse with me or ask me, what I'm doing. I certainly will attract attention if I'm somewhere writing notes in my notebook, or if I have my iPad and I'm doing work, people will be like, what's going on here? So it's more curiosity versus sympathy.
Let's break down some of the dinner etiquette when you are dining alone. What are some of the things that you would bring? You mentioned your iPad, a notebook. Do you bring headphones?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes I find myself dining out alone because I've been out reporting in the field. And so, I'm just dropping in for a meal really quick. And so I might have my headphones on to finish listening to a podcast or listening to music. Other times, if I am purposely out dining alone, that I always try to have a notebook to take notes. I'm trying to get better at bringing a book. Lots of books that I have that I, have yet to finish. So I really do try to bring a book. But honestly, often I don't have anything and I'm just people watching. And I'm conversing with my waiter or my bartender. And that to me is the entertainment.
See, I feel like if I go to a nice restaurant by myself, I am going to be taking pictures of the food, taking pictures of myself eating the food. Do you think that that's good?
I love that.
And some people I don't have
the ring cam.
I don't have the cam, the ring cam, and I don't have that extra spotlight or whatever.
Oh my God! Please don't be that person.
I will just use whatever's on my phone. But yeah, is that good? Is that proper?
I personally do not like when people have the whole setup. And I see it all the time. I think it's just disruptive, especially if you're in a restaurant that's low lit. You're clearly going to stand out with your whole taking selfies and videos and all that stuff. So I'm personally not the person that does that. I barely take photos of my food because I'm terrible at taking photos. My husband is a wonderful hobbyist photographer. And even I will have to be could you tone it down? Because he has a big camera and then I have to play food stylist. So it's a whole thing.
So be subtle when you're dining
Just be
alone.
respectful of the vibe, you know? But what you were saying actually reminds me a lot of Tracee Ellis Ross, who has a fabulous show, Solo Travel. Mm-hmm. And she's, bless her, 53 and has no shame of traveling and eating by herself and is the woman with the tripod knocking over plates to take a video of herself eating and drinking. And so I can't hate on Tracee Ellis Ross.
That is funny that you bring her
Love
up
her.
because she played a character, Joan, on a show called Girlfriends.
One of the best shows
And
of all time.
in one episode, she dines solo. But like the waiter like makes it so obvious and like grabs the other like plate and forks and cup, and then she's like so like self-conscious that she's
Right.
dining alone, that she's by
Yeah.
herself. But you don't have to be. It seems like you
No.
dine with confidence.
Yeah, I don't have an answer of why I feel comfortable doing it. It's just something I've always done since I was a grown adult, since I started traveling, like I said, by myself. I will say that I'm not a table person in general. Even when I'm out with a friend or my husband, I always prefer to sit at a counter or at a bar. It's much more social. But then I also really love the people. Like I was just at Longwood Gardens, I think in September, and I was there for basically like an early dinner, late lunch. And there was a woman who at first I saw her go sit at the bar up front, and then a waiter came over and was like, your table is ready. And she was walked over to a fabulous 2-seater table, had nothing with her, no book, no headphones, nothing, and had what looked to be a fabulous meal all by herself. And I love that. I don't have a problem doing it. It's just I prefer to be at the bar. And then I think about like places like ramen places, you always see people just kind of like by themselves, just slurping away at noodles. And I love that as well.
That makes sense to me because it's soup,
Yeah.
basically, right?
It's a
you're not
one-person
like
show.
sharing soup or like,
Yes.
here, take a little spoonful of my ramen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel like there's a difference in how you're treated as a solo diner in Philly?
That's a really good question. I've definitely dined places by myself where I'm definitely feeling like, oh, they forgot about me for sure. Like everyone else got their stuff and it's been 20 minutes and I still am waiting for my stuff.
That's so
I
sad.
couldn't tell you. I really can't remember the places, but that's definitely happened. What I really try to do is sit in the middle. Like sit in the middle,
Of the bar?
of the bar or somewhere visible, because I want to make sure they don't forget about me for sure. So that's also another tip that you can think about if you're comfortable doing that. There are certain places where we've talked about it before, a place like A Bar and A Kitchen. I'm always at that little corner spot. That's my spot. They also know me because I've been dining there for 10 years. But for other places, I really try to sit directly in the middle where I know the bartender or the server has to pass me and then has to check on me to make sure that I'm getting, my food and drink paced out correctly.
All right, let's keep talking about this after the break. Okay, I want to break down what restaurants are great for solo dining with that bar seating.
First is Irwin's. So Irwin's inside Bach on the 8th floor. On the other side of the Bach rooftop is a really great place to dine solo. I've done that many times. Irwin's, I think, is great because, yes, they have the bar seating and it's small enough that you're not going to be lost in the sea of other people. Also, it's small plates. You can get pastas half size versus the fuller size, which are also cheaper. And you can have like 3 plates of food or you can have like 7 plates of food and it's still good. You can have that whole fish by yourself if you really wanted to. Sometimes I go in, honestly, just for dessert and cocktails, and I'm there by myself.
Any other places?
Yeah, Messina Social Club is another one that I go to by myself often. Similar reasons, very, very small bar, but they also have a couple of tables in the back that you can totally sit, and I've done that. And the menu is approachable enough where you could have a couple of plates or an entree or two and totally feel good eating by yourself. And that service that they provide there, that team is really, really detail-oriented, super charming guys that work there, and they really do take care of you. And I see solo diners there all the time. So that's one that I really love to go to. I also think, like we were saying, like go anywhere in Chinatown. And I bet you will be surrounded by solo diners everywhere. So that is just an entire neighborhood where you could do solo dining and really love it. So yeah, those are some of the top places.
Ramen, cheesesteaks, burgers.
Totally.
I feel like
Like
those
quick
are
places are good too.
Those are, I feel like, good solo dining options.
Mm-hmm.
What about like higher end?
Ooh, higher end places. I'm trying to think where I've gone by myself. Mailu. I've definitely done Mailu more often solo than with other people. My Lou is on Rittenhouse, 20th and Walnut. It used to be pre-pandemic one of the Tria tap rooms, if people recall that. I used to go there as well. So that's a great place to post up where they have tables. I like to sit in the front where the big front window is really lovely to sit there by yourself. You can also obviously just sit at the bar. And because My Lou is so popular, it can be very hard to get into, even if you look for like a reservation. Sometimes I've gone there like at 9 o'clock by myself. So if you're willing to wait a little bit and have a late dinner, it's totally worth it.
Tell me about some places where you can sit at a table and you feel comfortable eating solo.
So we've talked about this a little bit before with our outdoor dining episode, but indoors, I go to park all the time by myself. This time of year, listen, we're recording on a rainy, cold Thursday. There's nothing better than sitting inside a little snug booth and park, having that French onion soup and like a cappuccino and just vibing out. Talk about people watching. You don't need
best
anything.
Place.
You don't need anything.
Watch. Yeah.
You don't bring anything. Just watch the frenzy that is park. That's to me like one of the hands down best solo dining experiences for sure.
Sit me by the window and I'm good.
Yeah, so I would say that is probably prime solo dining for sure. So some places where you can sit down at a table and be a solo diner are Vernick, also in Rittenhouse Square, also just a few doors down from My Lou. Oyster House. Oyster House is a great place to sit and just honestly chomp down on some shellfish. That place has been around for decades.
That place is popping during like
always
lunch
busy.
hour.
Yes. You know what place is also always busy, and I go there to lunch by myself and sit down? Mission Taqueria. Mission Taqueria, always busy. And always with business groups. Like everyone's out to lunch as a team. But you can also go there and they have plenty of small, tables for you to sit by yourself.
Great margaritas.
Fabulous margaritas, totally. Also ask about like their weekly salsa specials. Recently went and had an amazing corn-based one. So ask about that.
Okay, so we're talking about like the times. Like lunch hour seems like common to see somebody dining by themselves. What about like for dinner?
Dinner, royal sushi. Not the, you could do omakase if you can get in. That's definitely a solo spot for eating that I know a lot of people have done. Just because those reservations are precious, so they're not giving it up to someone else or inviting someone else. But the front part of Royal Izakaya, the izakaya part, it's a bar. So they have plenty of high top tables right there in the front that you can go and sit. I've done that myself. So Royal Izakaya is in Queen Village on 2nd Street, I believe near Catherine. It's really tucked away and kind of hidden in that neighborhood. And Pub and Kitchen also is a great one to sit by yourself as well for dinner. Pub and Kitchen is kind of like below Rittenhouse Square, Center City West area. So those are awesome places to go to as well.
Cool. You did mention the Dinner Club Messina. Are there good solo dining experiences where you can be social with other people? So like communal tables, dinner parties, supper clubs.
Yeah. So what comes to mind first, because I did this by myself a few years ago, Sante. My friend Dan Solway, who is a sommelier, runs these like wine tasting events and partners with different venues and chefs around the city. So he does these wine events, and that's a communal setting. You're on a table like this where it's really long, and you can totally go by yourself and be around other people and mingle. So I would definitely check out Sante. He's been doing that for 5 years now, so that's a great one. And I also think around this time of year, so Christmas, restaurants that are open will always do some kind of special, right? If you don't want to cook a holiday meal, those are great times to go in and do these kind of communal supper club dining experiences solo. Another one for communal dining is Ambra, which is the back part of South Wark in Queen Village. That is one communal table. I believe they seat up to 8 people. You were asking before about like kind of splurge-worthy higher end settings. That is definitely worth checking out for sure.
We'll have more on this after our break. Any other like dining alone tips for us?
Yeah, I think like think about what kind of vibe and atmosphere do you want? Do you want to go somewhere where you will be truly left alone, like somewhere like a ramen spot where you're just like heads down slurping? Or do you want to go somewhere where you're going to be surrounded by other people? I think a big misconception of, whether it's eating or drinking or traveling alone is that you're lonely. It does not have to be a lonely experience. You might be alone, but there's other people surrounding you. And if you are someone who is extroverted, in my field, I kind of have to be, right? I'm a reporter. So I love striking up conversations with strangers at bars and restaurants. And that is a lot of where I get ideas for stories, or they will tell me about their favorite places and I want to go check those places out. So it depends on what kind of experience you want, right? And then you do have these supper clubs and these communal dining experiences that do want to foster a sense of community. Think about all the cooking classes we have. That's a great option for a solo dining experience.
Do you have
right?
a favorite?
If you do want to have a kind of solo dining / cooking class experience, Jezebel's in West Philly does an empanada making class. First of all, so good. Like those empanadas are so, so good. And chef there is really excited and diligent about sharing these traditional recipes that she grew up doing. And again, you get to keep all the empanadas. She has like a
Keep them and eat them.
I know. I ate half of them on my way back after taking that class. You get a little like tea drink that she has in-house. It's a small, intimate setting. I think it's probably less than 10 people. So it's really nice. You don't feel like, oh, okay, it's just me. Like it's actually quite friendly environment. And then you get to learn how to make traditional empanadas. And then she lets you like kind of make whatever you want. She puts out all these ingredients and you can totally kind of go ham on that. So Jezebel's, those empanada cooking classes, I would highly recommend as like a communal experience. I've also seen like, again, I do a lot of people watching when I'm out and about. I've seen people bring a sewing kit and they're sewing while they're at a table or at the bar seat by themselves, which I find, number one, productive. Like, why not?
Multitasking right there.
Yeah. I also have friends who bring cards. They will like bring cards with them to kill time. So people get really creative of how to like spend time while they're out and about by themselves. So I think it can be a choose your own adventure depending on, your comfort level and the type of experience that you're seeking out.
And the size of the table and bar. I can't imagine playing solitaire on some cards.
Maybe figure out the size of your table and space to sit at. And yeah, just be mindful of the ring light situation and taking photos. My whole thing is do whatever you want to do, but just don't disrupt service.
Best days to dine solo? I feel like Friday, Saturday nights, that's when it's going to be dates and friends are meeting up with each other.
I have found myself out and about mostly on Wednesday evenings recently. And I have found comparing a Wednesday evening to like a Friday or Saturday, Wednesdays are so lively and Mondays are very lively, especially if you want to go out by yourself. Mondays and Wednesdays have been very, very awesome to go out. I think there's a couple of reasons. One, Mondays are what we call industry nights. So people that work in service, like your bartenders, your servers, your chefs, typically they're off on Mondays. So that is their weekend and that's when they're going out and about. So the places that stay open on Mondays, they get an industry crowd. So it's fun to go out on a Monday and you might spot, your favorite chef or bartender out and about. Meeting House is a really good one to go out by yourself. They have this wonderful little like nook that they recently opened up that I highly recommend in their dining room to eat solo. And they have wonderful specials that they do every day of the week. Mondays right now is spaghetti and meatballs, highly recommend. And Wednesdays have just been like real poppin'. Like I'll go out on a Wednesday versus a Thursday. The Thursday is slower than the Wednesday, which is really kind of fascinating to me and kind of hopeful. I'm like, oh, okay, the midweek kind of crowd is out and about. That's really reassuring, especially for bars and restaurants who may have been struggling post-pandemic. And then I would say for weekends, I have found myself doing late dinners, like 9 o'clock dinners, which I don't plan it, but it's one of those things where I'm out and I'm like, oh, I have to get dinner and it's 7:30 and everywhere I go has
There's
a
no
45
reservations.
hour wait.
Yeah.
I will say one of the places that I just recently went to, not by myself, but very much would recommend for a solo diner, is Sal on Passyunk Avenue from the same team by Mon. Fabulous. I did have a 9 o'clock dinner with my husband, so we had to kill time getting drinks beforehand, but fabulous. I mean, hands down, I'm going to say the best chicken cutlet in town. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out that menu. So was it worth waiting till 9 o'clock? Absolutely. So if you're going out on a weekend, I would say either show up right at opening time or maybe wait, for a 9 o'clock seat to open up.
I will want to shout out, though, this new initiative that the city's doing. It's called Tuesday Nights Live. And we did an episode with the two of us about the best bars at hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And so what this initiative is try to get people out on Tuesday nights.
Love that.
At a select few hotels from 6 to 9. It started in September. It's going until January. And they're trying to get people to go to the Marriott, the Sheraton, the Notary Hotel, Canopy down in Market East, Aloft, and Lowe's Hotel. And you can enjoy some live music while you're dining and drinking. Alicia Miranda, thank you so much for joining me for this episode.
Thanks for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about solo dining, make a reservation. Also rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. And don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with all the hosts of CityCast, and then we're observing Thanksgiving. But no worries, there's plenty of episodes for you to listen to while you're traveling this week and weekend, and we'll be back with more news from around the city on Monday. Talk to you then. Enjoy the week, and be safe, y'all. Bye.